This is Commodity Wrap. I'm Tony St. James. Welcome to Blame It on Tech. No, it's not Blame It on Texas. You know, that was a song by Mark Chestnut. I think it was back in the 90s. But somebody came out with a parody and said, Blame It on Taxes. Well, welcome to Tax Day. Also got a couple other reports out. We ended up with the NOPA crush number today. Our next guest will have some details on that. And the Federal Reserve out with their base book today. All of this in front of Friday's Cattle on Feed report. So let's not waste any more time. Brian Hoops is president, Midwest Market Solutions, and we kind of turned some things around on Wednesday. Corn market higher, beans higher. Now, did beans move just on the NOPA crush numbers?
Well, good afternoon, Tony. I think they were moving higher before the NOPA crush numbers came out, and a couple factors influenced soybeans today. One of the more dominant ones was President Trump speaking this morning or putting information out on X or Twitter that, in fact, he thought his relationship, President Xi, is going well. China likes the fact that the U.S. is now in control of the Strait of Hormuz, and the fact that the U.S. has agreement with China that China would not be delivering any type of weapons to Iran. So he made it seem like things are going really well, and in fact, we don't have any issues. So I think the trade was comfortable with that and put a little premium back in because maybe we will have a trade talks between President Trump, President Xi in May. I think those talks were in jeopardy at one point. Also, it's been raining across a lot of the Midwest this week and into the weekend. We're going to see more rains. That means planting delays, or very possible planting delays. Our crop progress on Monday showed 6% of the nationwide soybean crop seeded a new record. But yeah, we're very early in the growing season, probably too early to get much concerned about any planting delays. But when you're oversold, that's enough of the market here for it to rally on. And then you did have that NOPA crush numbers that you mentioned. It was a new record for the month of March. We pretty much shattered the old record. We had 226.16 million bushels crushed in the March of this year. Last year it was 194, and the record was 2 years ago. And so we easily shattered these numbers, but we were slightly below estimates. And soybean oil stocks came in at 2.039 billion. That was also slightly below estimates.
Okay, over on the wheat side, saw higher trade there. Third straight session for higher trade in the wheat market. Now, leading up to the trade on Wednesday, we've been seeing some moves higher based on the dry conditions, especially the southern high plains. It looked like maybe we weren't going to trade that anymore. The idea of some rainfall moving through, but again, that market moves higher. Is that on the hills as well? Is just the words from the president at this point?
Yeah, we were lower most of the session in wheat, and we kind of rallied into mid-session. It rained here this morning, overnight this morning here in Missouri. It rained, and it rained a lot in the western belt overnight this morning, but as those showers moved out, there may be some more showers coming back in, but it's going to miss most of that hard red wheat regions, the really dry areas that badly need the moisture the most. Those are the ones that are going to be left out. And so while we were down this morning in wheat, we did come back by the closing bell, closing a couple cents better in Kansas City and Chicago, just fractionally higher, but well off of session lows, partly because corn and soybeans were so strong. And, the other part is because of these forecasts that are going to miss the driest areas of the hard red wheat belt that badly needs that moisture.
Okay, and kind of wrapping everything up here before we go to break, how about those precious metals? We had that big run, and then we started, opening up the trap door and started falling apart. The month has been great for either gold or silver, but it's been a pretty good week for the silver market, gaining about 7%, still year over year, 144% higher on silver, and gold's up over 45%. Not a bad return on investment if you did it a year ago.
Yeah, your metals markets have been moving pretty well. Very choppy. A year ago at this time, we were almost sharply higher almost every day. It's been more of a choppy pattern. But the one market that's really been impressive, I think, has been the S&P, the stock market. About a week and a half ago, we actually put our bottom in those markets, and we're now closer to a contract high in just 2 weeks' time than we are to a contract low. We have really rallied S&P futures. I think the market's trying to anticipate that economic news is going to improve into the summer. We're going to get this war behind us eventually, and at some point, the S&P is going to continue to work higher here.
Yeah, good points there. All right, we're talking with Brian Hoops. Brian is with Midwest Market Solutions. This is Commodity Wrap.